अरे यार, प्लीज कम हेल्प मी यार. Hey folks, here Rachana Ranade here, and I welcome you all to a very interesting video which is about EVs. If you remember, in the previous video we had discussed about what or how much money can India truly save if we shift or if we actually go ahead with the EV adoption, right? What are we going to discuss in today's video? We are going to discuss about what are the various challenges that are actually posed by not only India but by many countries in this EV adoption, and we are going to discuss various solutions wherein we are going to discuss 20 plus case studies not only in India, around the world. So I'm sure this information packed video is going to really be very helpful for you. Well, the very first challenge is land identification and allocation, right? So just to give you an example, if you decide that, yes, I'm going to buy my first EV car or first EV two-wheeler, okay, what is the first thing that really bothers you? Or even if I buy, where will I charge it? Is there enough infrastructure available for charging my vehicle, right? So that is the very first problem that we are facing, not only in India, across the globe, right? So what are the different solutions? We'll discuss about that. So the very first solution I'm going to discuss, it's an Indian based solution wherein there are two cases. The very first one is that Lodha Properties, Lodha Group has tied up with Magenta Power, number one, and number two example is DLF has tied up with Plug and Go. Okay, what have these two organizations done? They said that don't worry, we'll set up charging stations like this within your residential complex. Okay, so you can imagine you come back from work, park your car here only, and it keeps on charging overnight, let us say, and next morning whenever you have to go to office, you just drive from here only, right? So could there be such multiple charge points located within your residential complex? Possibility is surely there, and we are actually seeing this by two different examples that I told you right now. One is Lodha Group and second one is DLF, right? This can be a scenario where you have huge residential complex, but in Pune at least there are many standalone buildings. In that, parking is also done on the road. Where can we have charging stations within the society? So for them, what could be one more solution? That solution has been given by Indian Oil. Okay, Indian Oil said that we have loads of petrol pumps right now. Right now, as a pilot study in Hyderabad, they are going to do this. Only 2 out of these, they are going to use them, they are going to convert them into EV charging stations. They said that if this pilot study becomes successful, then out of the total petrol pumps available, we are ready to convert up to 50 such petrol stations into EV charging stations. So I hope these two can be good solutions to the existing problem. The second problem is high capex demanded for charging infrastructure. So you can imagine this big charging infrastructure will demand such a huge capital expenditure, right? So what can be various solutions? The very first solution that we are going to discuss today is by Tesla. So what Tesla did? Tesla said you need not have huge infrastructure all at one place only. Okay, so they said we can set up charging stations at multiple utility locations. Like what? Like shopping malls, like restaurants and hotels, right? So you can imagine Mr. A comes to a shopping mall, parks his car, goes to the shopping mall, shops for 2-3 hours, whatever. Till then, what is happening? Till then, his car is being charged. He'll come out and he'll go out with his EV, which is fully charged, right? What can be a second solution? Second solution was given by Ubitricity, which is a German company, and they said that why do we have to build additional infrastructure? Can't we make use of existing infrastructure? Now, what could be an example of that? I'm sure there are multiple lampposts that you see across the road. So let's take an example of this lamppost. Okay, assume that you need to have only one smart cable. You just plug in that smart cable into this lamppost, park your vehicle there, and the car starts charging with the help of that smart cable and the lamppost. Now you can imagine that will all lampposts have that facility of EV charging? possibility is very low, right? So where are these lamp posts located? For that, what this company Ubitricity did, they even launched a separate app which was known as Signage. On that app, you can find out where are these different charging points. Take your car there and charge it. Very simple solution, right? The third example is about a Taiwan based company which is Gogoro. They said, why have infrastructure for charging? If you remember in our previous video, a battery swapping can be the simplest solution, and that is what this company adopted, right? And the fourth solution, wherein China said, okay, you are facing a problem with infrastructure heavy cost, don't worry, we'll provide subsidies for you. So what we discussed in this entire problem and solution, what was the big problem? High capex required for infrastructure of EVs, charging infrastructure of EVs. 3-4 solutions we discussed. Number one, small solutions by Tesla, okay, single chargers rather than multiple chargers at one place. Number two, we said it could be using the existing infrastructure. Number three, we said battery swapping. And number four, we said subsidies given by countries. So you know how EV is considered as a product that has disrupted the vehicle industry? I'm here to tell you guys about something that has changed the complex auto insurance game. ACKO is a tech-first insurance brand that deals with its customers directly and uses technology to make insurance a paperless experience with good pricing on policies and cutting out the middleman. ACKO also has an end-to-end claims fulfillment promise that changes everything, beyond which it also has a promise of total transparency, be it terms of its policies, pricing, and claims. You can access all of it on one single destination, the ACKO app. With the help of technology, ACKO prices their policies optimally and provides an end-to-end auto insurance experience to its consumers. And hence, ACKO is a convenient, reliable, and effective auto insurance you can get. For more information, click or check out the link in the description below. So whatever solutions we discussed till now, they were for private vehicles, right? What about public transport? Can you imagine buses going into a shopping mall for charging? That will not happen, right? So the very first solution that we are going to discuss for public vehicles happened in the city of Vienna. What was tried and tested successfully was charging these EV buses through a catenary. So you can imagine a bus that is going through this route is getting charged while it is traveling on the road. So I hope you could imagine or connect this something like a tram in India, right? So this was tried and successfully tested in the city of Vienna. One more solution you can see here. This was in the city of Geneva, and this was through the flash charging technology which was developed by ABB TOSA. Now what happens here is that it's not a continuous charging, right? So you can imagine an EV bus is traveling. It stops at the station, okay, while the passengers are onboarding and getting off the bus. Within those 15-20 seconds, right? Within those 15-20 seconds, this is what happens. This charging arm basically helps this bus to get recharged and helps it to go for another 2 to 4 kilometers till it reaches its next destination. This same technology was tried and again successfully tested in IIT Madras as well, right? What is the third solution? The third solution was in the city of Gumi, which is in South Korea, wherein they said, we have laid a power track. So as and how the bus passes through this power track, with the help of a technology something like induction, bus will keep on charging, right? So what were the three different solutions that we discussed right now? The very first one was something like charging through a catenary. Second one was charging with the help of flash charging technology. And third one was with the help of a power track. The next problem is that there is no EV mandate for the EV adoption. What do we mean by no EV mandate? Adoption of EVs is not made mandatory by the government till now. Okay, why? What could be the possible reason for that? Now please understand, there are so many manufacturers of vehicles. Which vehicles? ICE vehicles. Are they going to resist this change? Yes. There are going to be many oil companies, upstream and downstream oil companies. They are also going to resist to this change. Number three, there are going to be many auto ancillary people who are going to resist this change. There are going to be people and companies in repairs and maintenance section who are going to resist to this change. So, actually trying to just crushing this resistance and going ahead with the EV adoption is definitely a challenge, right? But what have other countries done? First, we'll take the example of London. London came up with a low emission zone policy wherein they said that in this zone we will allow only those vehicles which are EV vehicles or which are vehicles under a certain CO2 emission level. Only those will be allowed in that zone. One more example, in some Chinese cities, what did they do? What did the government do? Beijing said, we are going to limit the number of license plates. I'll give you a simple numerical for that. The government said, we are going to allow only 725 license plates for 2.7 million applications received. So that brings down to a probability of just 0.03%. So assume that I am a person who is wanting to buy a vehicle which is an ICE vehicle, a normal petrol diesel vehicle. I know that the probability of me getting a license plate for that is just 0.03. Instead, better go with a EV wherein at least a license plate will be surely guaranteed for me, right? So that is the way they are not making it mandatory directly, but they are making it indirectly mandatory for you to buy an EV, right? The third example is in France, wherein they said we are going to use a carrot and stick approach. Carrot is what? We are going to favor you, we are going to give you certain rebates if your vehicles are lower emission vehicles, but if you have higher emission vehicles, we are going to charge you certain higher fees for that, right? So we did take 3 examples of London, China and France. What about India? Does India have any zone where no carbon emission vehicles are allowed? And yes, the answer is in the hill station of Matheran. If you have liked this step by the government, you can just say wow. But if you have liked this video, just don't say wow. Smash that like button. The fourth problem is high cost of EVs, and I think this is the one which really matters you the most, right? Now, what is the problem? Number one is high cost of the EV, and second one is that whenever we are even manufacturing batteries in India, the raw material that is required, I'm sure you might have heard about lithium-ion batteries, right? So the raw material which is required, that is not very easily available in India. So we have to import quite a bit of that, and for that also there is a heavy price fluctuation which again impacts the prices of EVs. Now, just as a very important point of information that you must know is that out of the total cost of the EV, almost 40% cost is of the battery itself. Now you'll say, oh my god, 40% is the battery cost, and plus if something happens to the battery, then an additional cost will be required to be borne by you. So for that, what was the solution? Solution was by again a Chinese car manufacturer, NIO, which partnered with CATL. What they said is that, don't worry, you are having that only block about the battery cost, right? Why not introduce a system which is known as BAS? BAS nahi, BAS. What is BAS? Battery as a service. So I'm sure you have heard about DAS, MAS in Map My India video, right? This is what BAS, battery as a service. In simple words, you are going to own that car, but you are not going to own the battery. You are going to take battery as a service. You are going to take that battery on rent, and then whenever something happens, you can just change it. You're taking the battery on lease, in short, right? So I hope you have understood the problem, which was high cost, has been taken care of by a solution which is BAS. The next problem is lack of public awareness. Public awareness about what? So for example, if I'm talking about myself, I'm not 100% sure, let us say, about what are the exact benefits, exact challenges if I buy an EV. Second part, I don't know that if I eventually end up buying an EV, where do I get the spare parts of that? Number 3, I know that we get a subsidy, but where to apply for that subsidy? I don't know about that. So what is the solution? Simple solution is don't buy an EV, buy a car which is a normal petrol or a diesel car, right? But instead of that, what are the different solutions which different countries came up with? The very first one is by Shanghai. Amazing solution. Shanghai came up with an EV demonstration zone. Now you can imagine in that demonstration zone, they kept almost 160 vehicles, all EV, different types, for test drive facility. Now you can imagine, I as a customer going to that EV zone, I have 160 options to try and test out EVs. In addition to that, I can have one-on-one interviews, one-on-one talks with those people who have all the knowledge about EVs. I can also get an educational program about EVs in that same zone. Now, do I think I'll be a much more empowered consumer in that case? And will it be a comparatively easy decision for me to go ahead with an EV? Answer is obviously yes, right? Second one is the UK's Road to Zero campaign, wherein they introduced online tools for customers. So you can imagine, instead of me going in that zone in Shanghai, now I'm sitting in my home. I have online tools. If I use this, then what will happen? If I do that, then what will happen? So can I say I'll get to know about the overall costing of that EV using various online tools? Answer is yes. In fact, after this campaign, they said that it led to a 19% increase in customers planning to purchase EVs, right? So gave the necessary boost. And one last one is in the city of Denver, they ran an advertisement campaign for awareness of electricity vehicles, which led to more than 3 million ad views. So I hope you have understood what are the different initiatives that were taken up by various countries to increase the awareness about EVs. The next problem is about stringent conditions for availing subsidies. So, for example, in India, you might have heard that availing subsidies for your EV can be a task in itself, right? So, for example, there are various conditions like this should be the minimum range per charge for the EV, then only you will get a subsidy. This should be the minimum top speed of your EV, then only you will get a subsidy. So, instead of that, what are the different solutions? The very first solution was China's incentive program, wherein they said roughly we are granting you 6,50,000 INR per vehicle, no matter the type or your top speed or your range, nothing. We are going to give you that subsidy. But since June 2018, they have shifted their policy based on a performance-based system. So, wherein they have given certain range, that at least range should be greater than 90 miles and whatnot. So, now they have shifted to a performance-based subsidy, right? What about India? In India, is the focus mainly on giving subsidy to the consumer or giving the subsidy to the manufacturer? In India, more focus is towards the manufacturer, wherein you can see that the approval for creation of a phased manufacturing program, PMP, for EV components and batteries was introduced. In simple words, what happened, I'll tell you. It was mentioned by the government that we are going to encourage you for Make in India. If you do a lot of manufacturing of EV components in India, we will give you subsidies. Did someone get that encouragement? Yes. You can see that Excite Industries and Leclanche, they entered into a JV wherein they have started a plant in Gujarat and wherein they are going to manufacture the lithium ion batteries, right? So just to sum this up, where is the focus of China? China's focus was to give subsidies to the consumers. India also gives subsidies to consumers. I'm not saying no, but the focus is mainly on manufacturers for encouraging Make in India theme. The last problem that we are going to discuss in this video is about absence of adequate financing, especially for e-buses. So you can imagine what amount will be required to change the entire fleet of buses to e-buses. Is that a big problem? Yes. But how was this challenge taken care of by various countries in the world? So very first one that we are going to discuss, the case study, is from the Nordic region, wherein Nobina, which is one of the largest and most experienced public transport company, which actually takes care of 1 million people going to work and coming back home every single day, they came up with an amazing solution of issuing green bonds. Okay, so what did the public transport company do? They issued green bonds, they raised funds, and whatever funds were raised from that, they converted their fleet into e-buses, right? By the way, just for your information, Nordic region involves Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Denmark, right? One more example that I can give is of the technological transformation program for Bogota's integrated public transport system. And for all those who are money heist lovers, you might be like, "Kai challe, Bogota, Denver, it's just hashtag nostalgia," right? So this a public transport company from Bogota, they came up with a solution wherein they said, okay, we don't want to issue green bonds. What is the solution? They said, we'll go to a bank. Which bank did they go to? They went to the Inter-American Development Bank and they said, we want a loan. Okay. But the bank said, we want a guarantor. Who stood as a guarantor? The Republic of Colombia stood as a guarantor. Now you will be like, what is the connection between Republic of Colombia and Bogota? Bogota is the capital of Republic of Colombia, right? So what was the solution taken out by this company? They said, we will not issue bonds. Instead, we'll take a loan which is backed by the government, right? What is one more solution? This is again an amazing solution by Shenzhen Bus Company, which is the world's first fully electric bus fleet company. Have a look at this number, man. The company has transformed its entire fleet of 16,000 buses in Shenzhen as e-buses, and more than half of the cost of the bus is subsidized by the government as a capital subsidy. So I think all these solutions that we discussed, including issuance of green bonds or loans or giving a direct subsidy by the government, can act as classic solutions for the problem that we discussed right now. Well, I hope after watching the entire video, you have got your answer for the question, can EVs be priced 40% lower? Yes, and what was the solution? The solution was BAS, Battery as a Service, right? So I hope you have enjoyed another information-packed video on EVs. If you want to know how India can save trillions with the EV adoption, you can click here. And if you want to know how we can invest in EV stocks, you can click here. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye-bye.